All right, let's get into it. I have done my standard face cleansing routine. I've done my brows. So today we are going to do my version of the 9 eye makeup that I just did following the tutorial from Monica. And so she started with some underpainting, and I imagine she'd already done her skincare routine, her prep, but I am actually leaving the house today. I've got just over an hour to get ready. And so I'm gonna go ahead and start with my primer. I did not do that last time because we were literally just gonna go and change into PJs, but I am going to Fresno to see my neurologist this time. And so we are gonna go in with primer. I haven't started the TikTok camera yet just because I don't think there's anything interesting about primer. And so I'm not gonna bother. I would just cut that out anyway. So I am going in with the, I'm going to say Joa Blurring Matte Primer with vitamin B5. I found this off of Amazon. And this feels like, I suppose I could actually check, but I believe the selling point to this is rice powder. And I see that the camera has decided it wants to move on its own. I can't fix that yet. So I'm just gonna drop down here. And this is the problem that I'm gonna be having. I'm at a 1.1 versus the I think it was actually 1.2. I think I was saying 1.4, but I believe it was 1.2. So that's going to be the issue we're having with the green screen, but we will soldier on and get this in. I really like the feel of this. It's really soft, almost like a velvety feel on the skin. And even though we're not supposed to have a high of anything beyond 70 today, I still feel like I'm going to want something that's going to help with oil and sweat. So this is just supposed to help absorb anything that might pop up and try to ruin my makeup. If you remember this clip, yeah, so we did some underpainting with Monica and I tried to just save it, blame the concealer for what was going on. And it was the concealer to start with. And then I overcorrected and kind of went crazy. Trust me, you do not need that much concealer. It was going on patchy and it was dry to start out and wasn't getting quite the coverage I wanted. And then I just went too far. So if you're young, if you don't have a lot of redness, so this is where we started. I had that redness. I had that little bit of sort of that discoloration that we get when we start getting a little bit of that peach fuzz growing in as we get older, and then the sun doesn't hit it quite as much. We get the age spots coming in. I don't really have a lot of like thin discoloration under here. It's mostly just like the bags casting a shadow. But you know, all these little things that we want to correct, you know, that's the sort of thing that she was doing with the underpainting. I'm not a big fan of that technique. So that's what we're doing in the last one. So I'm actually just going to go in with the foundation, and then I'll just do a little bit of spot concealing afterwards. So I'm just going to go with the foundation. So again, I'm just going to pour it here. Well, I'm saying again, I'm not sure. Yeah, actually in the get to know me video, I showed that I go, ooh, got a little bit much, but that's okay. So I'm going to go in with my makeup sponge, but I'm going to prep it with some setting spray first. I'm actually going to go in with my mattifying spray today from Glam. This is their Matte Fresh setting spray, and I'm going to do the same technique. So let me get it up here on camera, and I'm just going to wet it, mop up from my hand, and I'm just going to go in like this, dot it, and just go to town. I got a little much, but we're going to bring it down here and just kind of work it into the skin. This is looking really light. This is the 110. Oof, must have gotten this in the winter, but we'll make it work. We'll really bronze ourselves. That's okay. And then just work it into the skin. This isn't super exciting, so we'll just let the AI cut this out. Make sure we get our ears. Make sure you're working it up close to the hairline as you can, but without actually going into the hairline. As you see, I kind of get it up close to my eyes, working it in sort of around the brows. Don't forget your ears. So what are you guys listening to as I turn myself into a ghost and work it down the neck? On the 9th, a new album, well, EP, these sort of shorter electronic releases, dropped for one of my favorite new artists. Well, I guess not new, but like this is the first like sort of official drop. She's been doing singles and then she's been ghostwriting for other artists. Came out for Emmeline, and I've just been playing it nonstop on Amazon Music, and I guess she's been charting on Spotify. I don't really use that. Like I use Pandora for my like alarms, and then I just use Amazon Music for everything else. But so who are you guys listening to? Let me know. I really love her. I love Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo. I listen to a lot of musicals. Obviously, I did a lot of makeup when Wicked came out. I listened to Six, a musical, if you're not familiar. Like I said, a lot of my training comes from like theater. So obviously I'm going to be listening to a lot of Broadway. I actually did a pageant way back in the day with Betsy Wolfe, and so I've been following her for a while. I really love music from Waitress, and she recently did & Juliet, which is a jukebox musical, which means she not she specifically, but Anne Juliet is a compilation of songs that, so it's all by a certain songwriter, but a jukebox musical is one that combines songs that were either by one person or of an era or of a theme that are put together for a musical. They weren't written for the musical, so they were taken from something else to make the musical happen. And those are really fun. So, all right, we're kind of getting there with this. We're getting somewhere. Let me see here. But yeah, so let me know what you guys are listening to. All right, we're a little bit pasty, but I think we're going to be able to save it. See, it's not actually that bad when you compare it to my actual skin tone. It just looks really crazy in this lighting. It's about 2 shades lighter than what I would normally use. So I'm usually a 120 and I grabbed a 110. So we'll make it work. We always make it work, right? Okay, so I'm not actually going to really need that much of a concealer. In fact, I'm going to skip it. So moving on, actually, let me go ahead. So this is going to be the problem. It's going to keep wanting to drop down on me. Let me pause. Dear Lord, I have just started my TikTok camera and I look like I am about to start some kabuki theater. I'm going to have to drop a clip of what it looks like in the TikTok camera. I have kept saying over and over that the lighting is doing something way different in the other camera. And holy moly, I would not normally do this, but I am starting with bronzer right away because this is scary. We are going to go into the LA Colors contour palette. None of this is contour. I did try out this one shade up here thinking it might be cool toned enough to set a cream contour, and it's not shiny in the way I thought it would be, but it did pull funny. So I'm gonna go in with one of the darker shades, not the darkest, but although maybe today. All right, I'm gonna go into the second darkest, I think, and just load up my brush, and we're gonna go in and just bring some life back into this. And I'm gonna start up here with the darkest, or the second darkest, but we're gonna actually go in with lighter shades as we go more into the face, I think. So we're gonna do our darkest shades up here where we're gonna get the most, and then we're gonna go in with lighter shades down more into the face. We're just gonna bring more color back in because, oh my goodness, already that's helping quite a bit. All right, let's go a little bit lighter now. We'll go into this shade here, I think. Bring that into the bridge of the nose, down here at the chin. And I think we're gonna warm just sort of down here, sort of where I would contour. But we're gonna just, instead of contouring, we're gonna bronze it, I think, and just sort of bring back that tone. We will go ahead and contour and sculpt the face, but this is just gonna bring some life back in. And then with the lightest tone that we're gonna use, I'm just going to come back in and just sort of blend back in, just sort of give a light dusting everywhere else. And then I'm gonna leave the center areas of my face open for that brightening that we normally would have added with that concealer color. All right, now that I feel human again, let's go on with the rest of the makeup. So as I mentioned, I am gonna go ahead and contour, so let's jump right into that. Whew, that was scary for a minute, y'all. Okay, so for the, goodness, this camera is just not gonna stay. I apologize for that, but for Monica's tutorial, we were going with a snatch look. So normally I contour here in my normal hollows. So let's go ahead and just lift that a little bit and go a little bit higher than normal, like that, a little higher here, and we're just going to do it very light since we did go in with that bronzer. And I'm going to skip up there. I don't think we need it. We're going to take our brush and we're going to just gently lift up as we blend. The same here, and just lightly feather that in, just so. We'll do the other same on the other side and we'll be right back. All right, now jumping in with our blush, we're still going to use this Lost Sea purple blush. And again, we're just going to barely tap this in right underneath our eyes. And we're going to build it up as we want, just using a light hand on this brush, just barely kissing it onto the skin. And the closer that you hold to the brush, the heavier it's going to be. The further out, the lighter. So I like to hold just sort of in the center, and we're not jamming it in, we're just using a very gentle hand. Even if you hold here, just keep it light and loose. All right. And I think we're looking just about even there. So we can move on to our next step. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into our setting powder. We are gonna go ahead and tap our pink setting powder right into its lid, taking our cute little white puff here. If you remember, gonna just tap into this, knock it off onto the back of our hand. We're gonna set right under our eye here to start. And that kind of helps set that blush that we just put in, as well as that under eye area. And that's going to also give a nice palette for when we start setting the creams that we put in here, which today was just the blush and the foundation, but shh, nobody needs to know. Besides, well, anybody that wants to watch this video, but that's okay. And I'm going to be setting the makeup with more than we did in the last video because I am going to be in the car with the sun and the windows rolled down. So we're just going to set my trouble areas real quick and then we're going to move on. So really we're just needing this quick light hand. And then we're going to move on to our highlighter, setting our blush, and then we're going to go in with the rest of our makeup. Like I said, we're going to do our quick version today, and I am so sorry you guys are going to get a little seasick from this, I think. So I apologize. But like I said, let's go ahead and jump into our highlighter. I've got our guy here. Actually, don't listen to me. Let's go ahead and set that blush real quick. And as we did in the last look, we're going to go ahead and choose our cooler toned pink because we had our cooler toned blush in the cream. We're just gonna do a quick little boopity boop. Nothing too heavy here. This is all about a very lightly kissed blush, keeping it very cutesy and light like that. And now we're gonna go ahead into our highlighter. These early morning quick get ready makeups, my brain is just not awake yet. Okay, going into that rosy highlighter and just kissing the top of our cheeks like that. And we're gonna revisit this after we do eyeshadow, but this just helps everything kind of set in to begin with. We're gonna bop a little bit on our nose and a little down the center and a little bit on our Cupid's bow, just like that. Sorry, I like playing with the camera a little bit whenever I get the chance. And while I'm here, before we move on to the next, I did have a little note of correction. So in the last video, I made a little mistake. So Monica has a bachelor's and not a master's. Not that I'm taking anything away from her. I just don't like to say things that aren't true. But I did note that she made the president's list at Cal Poly, which is an awesome achievement. I know because several of my friends went to Cal Poly. It's almost a local school for us. So I know how competitive Cal Poly is. And so I want to say good job. Very cool. So moving on, let's go ahead and do our eyes. And I'm just going to go into the same colors. So I'm not going to really spend too much time, calling those out, but we're just going to go ahead and do it. All right. You know what? That is creasing. So let's go ahead and dab on a little bit of eye primer. I forgot that we didn't go in with any concealer. I can't find it right now, so we're just going to go ahead and use that older concealer. Anyway, I do have an eye primer, but for the sake of getting ready quickly, we're just going to use this. And while we're doing that, let me so the three colors we're going to be using are Cryptic, now I'm going to forget, Cryptic, Perish, and Sorrow. Let that dry. And my phone. I am sorry, y'all. What is happening? Maybe this will help. This might be a good time to mention that I do have an Amazon wish list. If anybody wants to help me out with this, I probably could use a better tripod with a better clamp for my phone so that it would hold where it needs to hold. Anyway, moving on. Let's go ahead. We're just going to go in with a medium brown all over these. Should probably remember to talk so you guys can see what's going on. So like I said, just getting this all over the lid. I didn't grab the best brush for this, but like I said, just slap it on there. This part doesn't need to be super precise. Just whack it on. So it'd also be good with your finger. So, let's just do that. Yeah, actually works better, to be honest. Just get it on there any way you can. I know what I'm actually going to do. So this is what I really needed this brush for. Is go into the next color, which is a slightly deeper brown, and take that in the outer V and about a third of the way into the lid and just kind of get that into the crease, outer V, and about a third of the way in, kind of blending that into our medium brown, just kind of like that. Go ahead and do it on the other side, up into the crease, a little bit out into the outer V, about an inner third, so nothing precise. Flip the brush over and blend. This is when you're going to take it a little bit further out, up over the crease, kind of blend it out a little bit further until it starts just kind of looking a little bit diffused, just almost like maybe your eye kind of looks naturally like this, just a little more defined, kind of like that. And then you're gonna take, I swear I had these all out here and now they're gone. Anywho, take kind of a fluffier brush. We're gonna go into that lighter tan color, and just for a little more of a blended natural look, we're taking that color right into the center of the lid, popping it in like that. We're done with that part. That's it. I'm gonna take a mascara. This time I'm going in with the Essence Lash Princess for that false lash effect, because I'm not going in with a false lash. That's something for somebody that is more experienced than me, somebody that wants to do a more glam look. I'm going for my everyday version of this, and we're just gonna go in with a wiggle motion down at the base. Then we're gonna flick it up. As usual, I'm going to focus on my outer corner and then just getting every little hair inside. Oop. We had a little bit of a accident there, but that's okay. We're going to let it dry and then we're going to flake it off. And yes, I am just realizing that I forgot eyeliner, but we'll go ahead and deal with that in a little bit. Right now, we're just wiggling and flicking, focusing on our outer corner. And again, I'm not taking out any of these mistakes. I'm not going backwards. Why? Because it happens. I have borderline personality disorder. I have fibromyalgia. I have severe anxiety and depression. And what do all of those things affect, right? What do these things affect? They affect memory, they affect concentration, they mess up our cognitive functions. So, am I going to have these little memory boo-boos and mistakes? Yeah. Would it be fair to all 6 of you, I think, now? No, 5 of you that are subscribed, if I were to cut all those things out and then pretend like I am a channel that cares about others with disabilities and that I want to cater to you guys and say I'm one of you, and then completely ignore and erase all the things where I'm exactly like you? No, it wouldn't be fair. I am one of you, right? I deal with these things. They absolutely affect my activities of daily living, like, getting my steps out of order, flubbing my words, forgetting my words. Yes, for the ease of these videos, I will take out ums, I will take out longer pauses. But if I forget a step and I have to go back and fix something, if my mascara wand screws up and I have to deal with fixing it, I'm going to take this as a learning opportunity. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to fix these, right? So I've talked enough that those little areas should be dry now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little short spoolie like this and I'm going to flake that off. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to show you the other way I'm going to try it. So let me see if I can't get you guys close enough on camera. So what we're looking at is those little areas there. Now, I should be able to now go in and flake that off. It's going to be a little stubborn, I think. We're getting it. Okay. And it's not going to be the easiest, right? So we're going to get it as close as we can. Right, so now it's fading off. Now we're going to go back in with that same blending brush that had that color on it. We're going to blend it out until it's no longer that noticeable. And now from here, you don't really see it. All right, so I'm going to do the easier part first. We're going to do our waterline from the 9-to-1 look, right? Using the same pencil. We're just lining our tight line like that. And now I'm going to have to go back in and do a bit of a line and a little wing. But I am going to pause y'all while I sharpen this because it's going to make it easier in a minute. Well, I could not find my actual makeup pencil sharpener and my regular sharpener was not working, so we're gonna go with this and hope for the best. So pray for me. Okay, we are going to start across the top of the lids and then we're just gonna pull a tiny wing and let's see what we can do over the top of the mascara. So as usual, if my hand or yours starts to shake or our eyelids start to flutter, we're just going to keep pressure where we are and wait for it to go through. If we get frustrated, we're just going to take a deep breath. We are not in a rush. We still have about 45 minutes to complete the last couple steps. We have more than enough time. It's okay. All right, let's go. So I'm going to start kind of in the middle and pull out, and then I'm going to start in the middle and pull in. So let's start. So the problem is this is going to start flaking off, and I'm getting little bits that are going to crumble all over my face. Do you see the little bits? I wonder if I can... A little bit of a smoky eye wouldn't be so bad, but a little bit of a smoky face, not so much. All right, the puff's kind of picking them up a little. Okay, let's keep going. You see what's happening with the pencil? It's so creamy that it's just crumbling. Okay, we soldier on. All right, so I went from the middle to the edge. I'm going to go from the middle to the inside. Almost there. All right, I did it. Now, this isn't my normal technique. We're doing that little tiny bit because we're going through and over the lashes, but I think we did it. So now we're gonna just pull that little wing like we did with our last 9-to-eye video. So we're just gonna follow the bottom edge of our lashes as if that line were to keep going. So we're gonna start right there at that point. We're gonna take and just kind of flick it. Flick and drag. And then we're gonna take it and go back to the edge and combine it like that. I'm going to fill in the line, or fill in the gap that created. You've got your wing. All right, I'm going to repeat it on the other side and I'll be back. All right, we are back and I had this set. There we go. We are going to now powder everything down with our translucent powder. And we are going to powder rather heavy because we are going out in the car. This is my physician's formula. We are in desperate need of a refill, but that's okay. And we are going to powder everything quite liberally. And then we're actually going to, at the very end, set it again with setting spray, knock it back down a little bit further because we do still have 2 more steps left. Do you hear that? I think Sinatra might come visit us. He's been doing pretty well. I do think he had one more absence seizure a couple days ago. Hi, baby. But today he's been running around fast. Yes, hi. He is right under my desk. He hasn't sat with me for a full filming yet, but he's been doing really great today. He did come visit me while I was setting up, which has been really nice. That makes me so happy. All right, that looks really good. So now let's go ahead and we're gonna just add a little bit more of our highlighter, but this time we're gonna go in with our, where is he? Hello, where's our cute little brush? There you are. We're gonna go in with our white this time. We're gonna add some into our inner corner, right in there for our little pop. We're also gonna take a little, we didn't carve out our brow bone this time, but we are gonna highlight our brow bone like that. We're gonna bring a little life back here, add a little bit more life back here, bring a little bit more back here, like that. I brought this out. Some of you have seen it, some of you haven't, and she actually matches. There we go. So this is Maleficent, and our OG followers will know that this is connected to my emergency alert system. I haven't needed to press this button in quite a while, but I have 3 of them. So I've got this one, which is connected to my cute little Maleficent that I got off Etsy. I've got another one is just on its regular like lanyard, and this one stays out here in the studio. I've got one that's hanging up in my shower. Then this one, of course, can clip on and go with me wherever I am. And then those are attached to sort of like a doorbell system that has a receiver. There's one sort of in the kitchen, kind of halfway through the house, and then there's one that's actually in Richard's room. And so I can press those if I have a fall, a cut, a burn, whatever may be the situation, he'll come running and take care of me. So I did do my brows, but that little tail is kind of doing its own little thing. But yeah, moving on to our lips. And this is going to be our last step, you guys. So we're going to line using the brown. And I'm actually going to do a bigger line, and I'm going to tell you why. I really liked how it feathered in, but I was losing a little bit of the outer edge. So I'm going to do a thicker line, feather it in so that I have that edge still after I do that. I'm going to go in. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to add a little bit more blush. I see it in both cameras, but here in my mirror, I don't see it very much. And I know I just powdered, but if I go in with the powder blush, I think we won't have that. We won't have too much cakiness. All right, make sure I'm nice and dry. All right, I haven't promised to put anything in the description today, so how about this? I will put the Etsy store for the little badge holder down in the comments, or in the description. How's that? So Fresno's about 45 minutes away, but when you don't drive, it might as well be, you know, on the other side of the country. So I'm actually going to meet up with a couple of guy friends that I haven't seen in a while. I guess we are because Richard's hanging out with us too, obviously. All right, so I'm not fully sure where or what we're gonna do, but I'm thinking like maybe a little like coffee place or a little brunch spot. Nothing too crazy, just sort of fun and casual. But yeah, so I'm gonna meet up with them and just shoot the shit for a while, you know, just catch up, see how their lives are doing. But let's go in with that sort of a, I don't know if I would call this necessarily a nude on me. The lighter one definitely, but this one is almost getting into red territory, but for somebody else, it's definitely a nude. See how it's almost a terracotta red on me, but I swear I set things down right in front of me and they instantly disappear. All right, so now I'm going in with that lip brush and I'm just gonna feather the edges in a little bit, kind of blend that seam together. Yeah, see here, it's like a brown terracotta in the TikTok camera. And I'm gonna like superimpose these two if I can sync them. Even if I can't see them, maybe I'll just put a little screenshot. You guys will see the difference in what I'm seeing because I look still like ghostly and the lipstick looks red in that camera. I don't know why, but you guys will see what I mean. But let me just blend this in a little. Actually, I'll go back in because I've lost, even then, see, I lost the line like over here as compared to here. I'm gonna go back. Kind of feel like it's almost verging on overlining, but no, that's definitely overlining now. How do I feel about maybe wiping off a little bit? All right, so alternatively, I'm just gonna blend all of it and then I won't have that harsh line. Let's see what I like then. Oh, actually, that's better. Now let's top it off with the lip oil, just in the center, so we keep that like little blending moment. I'm telling you guys, put it right in front of me, I will lose it. Yeah, all right, so now we're gonna go back in with that same setting spray we started with. You know what? I said I was gonna do the blush, but now that we've got that setting spray in, I can actually go back in with the cream a little bit and pop it back on. You know what? And we can actually, if we're doing the cream, go back in with a little bit of that highlighter. What do we think about that idea? And that's the fun thing with makeup. You can just play with it. Just kind of, you know, there's no rules. You can just do what you want. Layer as much as you want, add it, take away, you know, make it what you want it to be. If you want to add back in some of that pink powder to set it a little bit more, do it. Let's do it. Who cares? Let's do it. Okay, cool. You want to add a little bit more pink highlighter to it? Do it. You want to say you're done? Let's do it. All right. Focus for that last little second there. Okay, you guys, as always, stay safe. Be kind to yourself. I love you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.